you ever wondered why they say patience is a virtue? Let's explore this through a story. Meet Lucas, a young man living in a charming village nestled amidst rolling hills and beautiful orchards. Lucas had a dream that was larger than the largest apple in his village. He aspired to grow the biggest apples the village had ever seen. But Lucas had a flaw that often tripped him up: his impatience. Each year, as the apple trees began to blossom and bear fruit, Lucas would start picking the small green apples, hoping they would grow overnight. But every time, his haste only led to disappointment, like those tiny apples that never seemed to grow. It was as if Lucas was caught in a constant race, a race against nature itself. Lucas's impatience was his own undoing. It was like he was in a race against nature itself. Sometimes wisdom comes from the most unexpected places. In the heart of the village, a wise old man named Ben observed Lucas. He noticed the young man's impatience, his eagerness to pick the green apples from his trees before they had fully ripened. One day he approached Lucas and shared his wisdom. "The fruit of patience is always sweet, my son. Give your apples time to ripen and you will see the true magic of nature." At first, Lucas was skeptical of this advice. He had always been in a rush, always trying to speed up the process of growth. But something about the old man's words resonated with him. Maybe it was the sincerity in his voice, or perhaps it was the peace in his eyes. Either way, Lucas decided to give nature its due course, and in doing so, he was about to discover its magic. Patience is not just about waiting, it's about how we behave while we're waiting. As the seasons began to pass, Lucas found himself in the throes of a test of patience. The trees he had dreamed of nurturing to greatness were now laden with apples, yet they were not ready to be plucked. He watched as his neighbors started harvesting their apples, their baskets brimming with ripe, juicy fruits. The sight was tempting, yet Lucas stood his ground. Instead of prematurely picking his apples, he chose to nurture his trees. He tended to them with care and affection, watering them regularly and ensuring they were free from pests and diseases. Lucas was not merely waiting, he was actively participating in the process of growth. The summer sun blazed and the autumn leaves fell. Winter brought with it a blanket of snow, and spring ushered in a fresh wave of life. Through each season, Lucas held on to his resolve, his patience unwavering. Each day was a test, and each day he chose to pass. He understood that patience was more than just a passive act of waiting. It was about how he chose to spend that waiting time. It was about the love he showered on his trees, the care he put into nurturing them, and the resilience he showed in the face of temptation. His neighbors watched in curiosity, their faces etched with a mixture of bemusement and admiration. They saw him tending to his trees, refusing to pluck the apples before their time, and they couldn't help but wonder, would his patience pay off? Would his apples taste any different because of his patience? As Lucas continued his daily routine of caring for his trees, he was not just cultivating apples. He was cultivating patience, resilience, and an understanding of nature's rhythm. He was learning that patience was not passive resignation, nor was it failing to act because of fears. It was the act of waiting in the right way. As dawn broke one day, Lucas's patience was about to bear fruit. The first light of morning gently kissed the earth, painting the landscape in hues of gold and pink. Lucas, with a heart pounding with anticipation, made his way through his orchard. His eyes widened in disbelief as he beheld his trees laden with large, exceptional apples. Each one was a masterpiece, flushed pink and gleaming in the morning light, a testament to the magic of nature. One apple in particular, hanging low and ripe, caught his attention. It was the embodiment of his dreams, his patience, and his hard work. With trembling hands, Lucas reached out and picked his very first apple. It felt heavy, its skin was smooth and cool to the touch. He brought it close, inhaling its sweet aroma, a promise of the taste that was about to come. And then, he took a bite. The crunch echoed through the still air, followed by a burst of sweetness that flooded his senses. It was an explosion of flavor, a perfect blend of tart and sweet. The joy that swept over Lucas was unlike anything he had ever experienced. It was a joy born from patience, nurtured by time and effort, and now, finally, it was real. His apples were the talk of the village. Indeed, they were the sweetest anyone had ever tasted. And it wasn't just the sweetness of the fruit, but the sweetness of success, of a dream realized after a long and patient wait. Lucas couldn't help but smile, knowing all along that the old man was right. The fruit of patience was indeed the sweetest. It was a sweetness that was worth every moment of waiting, every moment of doubt, every moment of hard work. It was a sweetness that Lucas would remember and cherish for the rest of his life. So, what does Lucas's story teach us? It's a tale that unfolds the magic of patience. Lucas, a young lad with a dream larger than life, discovered the hard way that haste makes waste. His eagerness to reap apples before their time only resulted in disappointment, a lesson many of us can relate to. The wise old man's advice, "Patience bears the sweetest fruit," became Lucas's guiding light. He gave his trees the love and time they needed to flourish, a testament to the importance of patience not only in apple farming but in all aspects of life. In the end, Lucas's patience was rewarded with the most exceptional apples his village had ever seen. His story serves as a gentle reminder that good things take time. Success, like growing apples, cannot be rushed. Patience is a powerful tool that, when used correctly, can turn dreams into reality. So remember, good things come to those who wait.